So much movement. Fede Valverde, I thought, was brilliant, offering real legs in there running. But the right back, Carvajal, Mendy, the left back was superb. I thought they were excellent today, I really did. And as I said to you, I've seen them plenty of times this year, but that was the standout.
They took you by surprise, I think.
It took me by surprise, but in another way, as I said, this time last year, they beat Liverpool, and I was surprised about that. But in this competition, they find an extra gear, and I don't know what it is, whether it's just this aura about them, the white shirts, this competition in itself. They get to the latter end of this stage all the time.
And everyone's talking about the Spanish league being weak in transition. Villarreal won the other game 1-0 against Bayern, and this team here comes.
Atletico was still in the tight to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Barcelona in the Europa League.
Looking all right. And let's just check. Karim Benzema has just about left the pitch. Who can blame him, though, for making the most of that? He's earned every plaudit he gets this evening. And sometimes when you work in English football and you cover English teams, you get obsessed talking about their result. But I think we have to start by talking about the man who's scored 37 goals now this season, his best ever return, and there's the most important part of his season still to come.
Yeah, and this is the business end, and he's still scoring goals. He shot his team to the top of the league. They're 12 points clear now in the Spanish league. Flying in that sense, but he's the talisman, he's the leader now, and again he stepped out of the shadows from Cristiano Ronaldo. We mentioned before the game having that humility to be able to sit in the background because he knew and understood what it difference in the two headers as well. That header there, he's had to put a bit on it, and it's just for young strikers watching the game, and not always do you have to use your neck muscles to kind of smash the ball back where it came from.
Just to put it in, just drop it over Thiago's head into that position there, and you're right, you know, the decision making, the ability to. Mendy's outstanding shot stopper, so it was just an excellent goal.
It's the power of experience. All three of you were saying that if you're 21, 22, you're so compelled to. He don't score that goal at 21. You know?
He won't score that goal at 21. He's getting better with age.
I think it's just his movement in and out. He knows he doesn't have to fly into the box. He's always just on the periphery. He knows where all the defenders are, and he just arrives really late. His experience counts for everything, doesn't it? But to follow up with a hat-trick against. Now, he scored 2 at the weekend to take Madrid clear again. He scored another 3 tonight. After this 3 against Paris Saint-Germain, he scored 2 away in Mallorca. He's just there he missed the Clasico, and you can sort of see why. But every time he sets foot on the pitch, he just looks as if he's going to score goals now. And he's averaging over a goal a game in this year of all years. I mean, it's just superb.
At 34, by the way. He's the best number 9 on the planet for me. I mean, we can talk about Lewandowski, great player. Harry Kane's come back into that form we all knew about, great player. But for me, this guy at the moment is another level. He's just phenomenal. He's impacting the game in so many different areas, not just goals, assists,
link-up play,
taking the sting out of the game, slowing the game down. That's a number 9. That sounds like a playmaker, but that's the number 9 who scored 37 goals now this season. Phenomenal.
And it's a good point because I think you see the numbers and people will talk about the goals after tonight, but when you see him live. It's the work rate. He's involved in everything.
His movement is really clever. At times, he just floats out wide, doesn't he, and sort of nearly link hands with Vinicius. But his link-up play with him is excellent at the moment. He knew that's where the danger was. So the fact that he gravitated out there away from Thiago towards Christensen and almost doubled up in the first half, give him a torrid time. And that's where the game was won. It was effectively, yes, we'll talk about the third goal, but the performance in the first half was, as I said, exceptional. That's where the game was generally won for me because Chelsea couldn't do anything. They're always trying to chase the game then throughout. And
I think Ancelotti deserves credit for that because the way they set up, it wasn't by accident what they were doing, going out and isolating Christensen. He ended up having to come off because he was given that much of a torrid time because Vinicius was out there, Benzema was coming out there. But I mean, again, tactically, first half they were great. Tuchel's shored it up, as Joe said, in the second half, but it didn't amount to enough.
By the way, if we get another Spanish announcement in the studio, we'll get you to translate what they're telling us. Yeah.
I mean, I might as well.
Why not?
Why not?
Let's have a look at the third one. And I think we should all be careful about being too critical here.
For Rudiger, who's an aggressive player to really, like Joe said there, put Benzema in the stands there. You've got a good opportunity to.
What's he thinking?
Just trying to poke
possession.
You just smash it. His right foot, everything goes.
Do you know what might be interesting? What might be? I don't know if he was booked at that stage in the game or not.
In the first half,
and maybe sometimes with Rudiger, you have to sort of calm him down. So at the start of the second half, maybe he might have been aggressive. He might have been at half time unhappy with his team's performance. maybe you'd gone to calm. Maybe you'd have been told to calm him down. In that situation, that wasn't a situation for calm. That was a situation for aggression, and he just got it wrong. But
it's a good point because he was booked at that point.
Yeah.
So that may well have played in his mind. Let's get the thoughts of a man who I'm sure will be very happy to return here and pick up a win as impressive as that. Here's Carlo Ancelotti.
Carlo, that must be a very satisfying night for you.
No, we played well. Honestly, we had a good control of the game. We were good to build up from the back, dangerous in counter-attack. So it was a good night, but it's only the first half of this round. And we have to look forward, prepare the next game.
But does that feel like one of the more complete performances from the side this season, maybe?
Yeah, it was really good. I think that we show good organization, defensively, offensively. We were dangerous in counter-attack. We had a fantastic performance in front from Benzema. They scored 3 goals, and yeah, it was a good performance.
Vinicius was causing a lot of problems in the first half. You got that right, didn't you? Vinicius in the first half, Junior.
Repeat.
In the first half, you had a lot, particularly wide positions.
Yeah, no, I think that helped us the fact that we were good from the back to build up, to find space between lines, and then with Benzema and Vinicius, we were dangerous.
There's still a job to be finished, but do you feel you have a big advantage now?
We have advantage. We have to be honest, no confidence. We have to prepare the next game in the league, and on Tuesday it will be another game. We have a lot of respect at this team that is still the winner of the Champions League, and so today I think we did better. Next game, we never know.
Thank you, Carlo.
Thank you.
See you again.
Well, look, you do never know, but we've spoken a lot about the talent on the pitch. The man on your pitch is there, but what about the talent off the pitch? If there is a man who knows what you need to do when you're 3-1 up in the second leg of a European game, it's Carlo Ancelotti, and he will have a plan.
He will. I mean, experience counts for a lot at this stage. He's got it on the pitch, but also, as you say, off the pitch, he's navigated his way through trophy win after trophy win. So he'll know what to do. But listen, he understands it's not over. These games can change on a sixpence, a split decision, a sending off maybe, a mistake as we saw today. So he'll go in this. He won't be overconfident. He'll be going there professional.
You know what? If Chelsea had taken just one of those chances they created, we'd be having probably quite a different conversation, I guess, at this point. And when you see these chances back to back, they were good.
Yeah, they were good chances. I mean, Chelsea played well in the second half. The first half, it was one of the worst performances I've seen from Chelsea in a long, long time. Second half, changed the system, Tuchel, and here Lukaku has to do better. You talk about the quality of Benzema in them situations, but they were probing, weren't they, Macca?
Yeah, and this was a great chance, wasn't it? And you can't even quantify the fact that it took a deflection to get there. He just gets it all wrong. He got his first one terribly wrong, and that was the second one. But he didn't have the impact that you wanted him to. Shot from Mason Mount, of course, a little bit too high, and a good one from Ziyech near the end. And they huffed and puffed. This was Reece James always trying. But there was just nothing in it in the end, was there? He just wanted that little bit of quality, whether it's from a wide man or the centre forwards when he came on. They wanted an impact off someone, and unfortunately it just didn't materialise.
7 goals in 2 games under Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah.
We just don't talk about that sort of stuff with him.
Yeah, and we mentioned before the game, in the Premier League since Thomas Tuchel's come here, they've had more clean sheets than anybody, any other team, Liverpool, City. So it's unusual, the last 2 games, what we've seen, 7 goals in 2 games, and we're looking to address that, I'm sure.
Well, look, he's brought plenty of success since he's arrived at Chelsea. He's also brought searing honesty. It's going to be interesting, isn't it, after the break, to hear what Thomas Tuchel made of this performance from Chelsea. Back-to-back defeats at home for them. Brentford scored 4. Real Madrid scored 3. Tricky times for the Chelsea boys.
Thomas, a lot to process tonight, a lot to discuss. What's your reaction to that defeat?
Well, it's a heavy loss. It was one of the worst first halves that I saw from us here at Stamford Bridge. On this kind of level, you cannot play like this. This was individually as a team, and from all of us was by far not enough. We were not doing what we were used to do, and far from our standards. And then you lose games.
We could see that in the first half. They were very open and getting wide and finding a lot of space.
Yeah, everything. It's not only open, like passing, where we pass, how we pass, when we pass, where do we attack, the ball possession game, there was the intensity in challenges, the desire to win challenges, how we close spaces now. Like the first half was so far from any standards that we set ourselves that we cannot complain when we lose this half.
You got a foot back into the game with that Havertz goal, of course, and that gives you a chance. But then disaster strikes straight after.
If you have this goal, you have the energy back, and we have in second half I think 16 shots to 1 shot. Yeah, you can always come back. You can equalize. You can win it. But if you kill the game yourself after 48 minutes, it's harder and harder, of course. Still, we had chances in second half to make it a 3-2, which could be crucial, but not today.
You're a little bit downcast now, but you're still going to battle on. There's still a chance.
Sorry?
You look a little bit
downcast?
Downcast. You look a bit fed up.
Well, what do you expect?
Exactly.
What do you expect? To stand here and smile or what?
No, not at all. I'm saying, but you will still have to go to Madrid.
We don't have to go to Madrid. We have to go to Southampton. Yeah. And I think this is very, very important to process this first. Absolutely crucial that we first go to Southampton. And I will make sure that everybody processes this, because this is the absolutely most important now. Because if we keep on playing like this, we will lose in Southampton, and then we don't need to think about Bernabeu. We will get hammered in Bernabeu.
Thank you, Thomas.
Wow, talk about honesty. It's what you want to hear in some ways, though, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, we know what the first half was like. We watched it. We've analysed it. We know that Real Madrid were excellent. We also said at half-time how bad Chelsea were, and it's the worst we've seen them in a while. So I fully expect him, to be honest. But he has to be careful as well, because he doesn't want, a moment like this or an interview like that to curtail the season. There's still plenty to fight for. But if they do lose to Southampton, they've got Tottenham breathing down the necks now. And they have to be careful that it just doesn't fall away. They just need to get back on and work hard from now until then, and then carry on, win at the weekend if possible, and move forward.
I think when you look at I think we can look at it here in the touchscreen in terms of that first half and what I think he will be looking at, other than Vinicius, which is a thorn in their side. But also, I think if you look at their midfield, here they had the two midfield. There you go. Who had to cover big areas, and if you look at the other players, the opposition, Toni Kroos, Casemiro, Modric. Look how spread that is. Look at the difference in the way they're playing. They're spreading that around the whole midfield area. And Toni Kroos, especially, and Modric, they were dropping out into these areas and creating big gaps. I'll play it on for you here, and I'll show you just how big these gaps became. And I think I'll stop it there, and you see Kante there. He decides to go and press. Once he does that, you think, okay, well, where's your midfield partner? There he is, in the middle of the pitch. Look at the big space he's got to cover there now. He's on his own there in a big area, on his own. You think to yourself, wow, okay, let's see how this develops. Plays on here. Toni Kroos, what a cool customer is, picks up the space. Look at that space there. He's got to pick up the ball. But another space I'm talking about here, where there's not a blue shirt, around 4 white shirts there, and that's what I'm talking about. Look at this player here in the middle, isolated. He's got to cover now that massive area there of them two blue circles. He's having to do that on his own. It's impossible. I don't care who you are. Kante there on his own couldn't do that. And then beyond that, look at the white shirts then streaming forward. They're away at Stamford Bridge. They're not just sitting back. They're flooding forward, causing problems and asking questions once they get. That's the right back, by the way, in the 6-yard box, getting shots off. So they were fluid in the way that they attacked, but they created the problems for the Chelsea midfield, who were outnumbered, but also in terms of space didn't have a chance in the first half.
He also needs to be to digest the game, like he said, take it in. But also in the first half, you have to remember there must have been a problem with N'Golo Kante for him to come off at half time, and you've got Jorginho in there, and Madrid was their spaces in midfield. So you had two players who were... Jorginho's not athletic. Kante, who had a problem. So the first half, Chelsea were having such a problem getting close to them. So just as much as we can praise Real Madrid for their performance, and like Rio said rightly, look, tactically, the spaces were really good. Chelsea were off it because of them reasons. And then but they need to take the second half into the Bernabeu. And in that cauldron, they need to start with that intensity with a fully fit team. And he's right. Southampton's important, but this tie's not over.
I think it's important as well. Vinicius Junior, and you have to look at this in the second half. They addressed it and they'd done well and went to a 4. But you look at Vinicius Junior here. Most of the game, he was out here. Look at him. He just stood out there and said, "This is me. This is where I'm going to be all game." And the reason for that was to isolate Christensen in that first half, who pace isn't probably one of his best attributes. He's experienced now. He reads the game very well. But if you can isolate him and get him 1v1 in these areas here, this is all that they played this game here.
That's where Benzema stood as well, didn't he? This side of the pitch near Vinicius Junior.
And he again, once this ball goes in, by the way, into Vinicius Junior, you look at his eyeballs here as a defender. You can't follow that ball when it goes in that direction. The moment you follow the ball and your eyes go that way, Vinicius Junior is in the race. He's in the lead then to isolate you and take you out of the game. And I'll show you here. Look at Christensen's face. Follows the ball, leaves the man. Game over. Game over. They tried to do this all game.
And look at where it is, right in front of Thomas Tuchel. So he addressed that at half-time, because we were seeing it from up here. Thomas Tuchel saw that Christensen was so uncomfortable with Vinicius. And it went the second half, when he put Reece James in there, where it's more of it's a race athletically, and they went back to the 4, and Reece James just matched up with Vinicius. He didn't get a kick.
That's what Maka would used to do back in the day. When you played Maka, you'd get people 1v1 like that.
Yeah.
You'd play
Front
it and just
go.
run.
Yeah.
And if the defender follows the ball inside and leaves the man, it used to be, it's over. It's curtains.
There, yeah.
It's brilliant.
Do any of you see Chelsea winning this now over 2 legs?
I don't.
No, the experience I thought today was telling. I thought both teams have experience in it. They've got people that have won, obviously. But the amount of trophies that midfield especially have amassed over the years, that area there would need to have a big shake-up.
Come on, Joe, give us some optimism.
Well, I'll only be betting with my heart by saying I think Chelsea can do it. And we've seen from the start, we all sat here and we said Chelsea are the better side on the pitch, but we love football because Real Madrid can produce a performance like that. And what I would say is the first 20 minutes in the Bernabeu is going to be crucial, and the next goal.
I mean, that'll be full. Well, it won't be full, but it'll be 65,000, and it'll be completely different than last year at the training ground. That's what I would say.